Today's WNEM TV5 Evening Extra is brought to you by the Law Office of Carol Thomas.
Thanks for joining us for TV5 Evening Extra, a push to permit even more of the public into a city park. For years now, Saginaw's Ojibway Island has been closed to cars.
And City Council member Carly Rose Hammond says it's about time that changes.
She lays out her demands for TV5's James Felton.
The semantic situation is not something that I'm very happy about. It's not open to the way that people want to use it. Everybody in the community knows that, so it's not helpful to gaslight people about their experiences with the park, and it's been blocked off to traffic now for 5 years. That's a problem.
Saginaw City Council member Carly Rose Hammond disagrees with the statement City Manager Tim Morales said recently that Ojibway Island Park has been closed to the public for one season, the 2025 construction season. Other than active construction, the park has remained open for public use and enjoyment. Rose Hammond says that she and residents she hears from believe the park isn't open if cars aren't allowed inside there. The city closed the park to vehicular traffic in 2021.
We need to have a clear, communicated, concrete plan for reopening the park. And when I say reopening, I mean fully accessible. That's what people want. That is what the community has been clear and consistent and persistent about ever since I've been on council. So that's something that's a priority for me, is getting that date clearly out there to the community as to when they can fully enjoy their park.
Morales also stated that the park would close to the public when construction there resumes in the spring. He said the goal is to reopen the park in July. Whether that includes vehicular traffic is up in the air. Morales stated that while there is community interest for vehicular traffic to return, there are also community members who like the park the way it is now. He also said March's citywide meeting is planned as a Parks and Recreation session, and he encourages everyone to attend that meeting. As for Rose Hammond, she tells us it's long overdue to give the park back to the people that pay for it.
It's their park. We removed access in 2021, and if we're able to grant access back with some safety features, it's been a long time coming, and I know that I'll be very excited to drive into the park and have a picnic there.
James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
The Saginaw Community Alliance for the People, or Saginaw CAP, is conducting a survey to gather community input about fully reopening Ojibway Island. Saginaw CAP says the feedback will help guide decision-making and ensure the park reopens to full use, vehicles included, but safely, equitably, and in a way that serves the needs of the community. The survey is available in the Monday Hot Links section on WNEM.com.
And it should be a quiet evening across mid-Michigan. However, we do want to bring to your attention the possibility of a slower evening commute, especially later evening commutes as we get into your Tuesday night. And the hour-by-hour forecast shows that we are fairly dry by 2:30. There may be some scattered snow, but it's not until we get closer to 5 that we start to see a band of heavy snow that could have some snowfall rates in excess of about a ½ inch per hour coming down, as many are hitting the road for either evening activities or perhaps getting out of work. So we want you aware of that for tomorrow, that it could be a little slower on that drive home or to wherever you're headed for tomorrow night. Your Pinboy Doppler radar shows a mostly quiet scene around the state tonight. There is some lake effect that is out over Lake Huron that could still be brushing the thumb. It's not out of the question that areas like northeasterly Huron County may have a chance at some lake effect through the early parts of tonight, and maybe some accumulations that are still on the order of about an inch or two. As far as your live camera goes tonight, this evening, downtown Saginaw looks great. Still seeing plenty of daylight here as of about 6:38. Our temperatures around the region mostly in the teens and 20s. That sunshine today really not helping us out all that much temperature-wise, and winds are still pretty breezy, northwesterly between about 10 and 20 for most locations. As we go through the rest of the night here, temperatures will drop off below 10 degrees for many. We'll take a look at the timeline of that snow tomorrow, plus how much coming up.
Thank you, Chris. New tonight, Lucky's Steakhouse in Davison shut down by the health department last week.
TV5's Zane O'Mare spoke with a server at the restaurant about the closure and its impact on the employees.
Normally, Lucky's Steakhouse here on Lapeer Road in Davison would be open for dinner. However, they've been forced to close their doors due to multiple health code violations. Tables cleared, parking lot empty, and a notice on the door from the health department posing a surprise to both customers and employees.
It all went down on Wednesday evening. I had worked Wednesday during the morning shift.
Nicole Ross has been a server with Lucky's Steakhouse for nearly a decade, the last 5 at the Lapeer Road location. She says she first heard about the closure from a coworker.
At first I thought she was just, pulling my leg. I was like, okay, you better not be teasing me. Like, this isn't funny. And then she was like, no, this is for real.
The Genesee County Health Department citing the restaurant for 6 food code violations and 4 repeat offenses. Inspectors reporting dried food debris on knives stored on a magnetic strip, knives being wiped with a dirty cloth, slime mold inside the ice machine, and a slicer soiled with old food, ordering the steakhouse to close, leaving workers like Ross suddenly without an income.
I have stayed at Lucky's and worked there for so many years because I have formed bonds with coworkers. I have formed bonds with regular customers. All of a sudden one day you wake up and you're not going to work and you're not making tips and you don't have that money coming in.
Ross says she does not know if the closure will last days, weeks, or longer, but she says the support she's received from the community has meant everything.
I have had so many of my regulars since this happened that have reached out to me through Facebook and just been so uplifting and encouraging. Even just sending a message saying, I see you, I'm sorry that you lost your job, keep your chin up. And that means a lot for someone.
According to the health department, the restaurant must remain closed until it clears inspection. Until then, Ross hopes people will remember the employees who built relationships there over the years.
Those of us who cared, we really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Lucky's.
In Davison, Zaid Omer, WNEM TV5.
Developing news now. Saginaw's first ever water tower, one step closer to completion. The city says crews are finishing up the electronics to heat the tank. The next step is disinfecting the tank before it's filled. The water must pass 2 consecutive tests and then it's good to go. Both the heat and disinfecting should be happening soon. The director of the water management says the tower gives Saginaw water safety reliability. The elevated tank can hold 3 million gallons, which will be used to maintain pressure on the water system in case it ever loses pressure. Construction on the water tower at Weber near Washington started in August. The city is planning a ribbon cutting this fall.
A chance for you to learn about a major road project coming to downtown Midland. MDOT is hosting an open house next week to discuss rebuilding M20, also known as Jerome Street, from West Main to Indian Street. Crews will also work on the US 10 business route from Jerome to Washington. Work is expected to get underway next month. The open house is at 4:30 on Wednesday, March 4th at City Hall. Get an up-close look at an out-of-this-world phenomenon.
Michigan is in the path for next month's total lunar eclipse. The viewing party for your family after the break.
Plus, help local community members experiencing homelessness during the winter. How you can support the Mustard Seed Shelter during the coldest night of the year. New tonight, a mother charged in the heartbreaking, stomach-churning child abuse case we first brought you last week. 35-year-old Crystal Farmer faces 7 felonies, including child abandonment, child abuse, and lying to an officer in a violent crime investigation. Flint Township police say 2 children with special needs are alive today because a neighbor called 911. And we do want to warn you, some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. Police say the children had been left alone for days inside a home reduced to survival conditions. One child was reportedly trying to eat raw, spoiled meat. A neighbor told us on Friday concerns were raised months ago.
Pray for these little boys, pray for them. I really hope that those little boys can stay together, because truly that is all that they have, is each other.
Farmer is due back in court on March 5th for a probable cause conference.
We're staying in a condo, and our security guards stayed overnight last night with no sleep, and he's still here.
It's a tourist place, something that's supposed to be beach therapy, ended up being traumatizing for a lot of people here.
American tourists stranded in parts of western Mexico. They say they do feel safe as they shelter in place after cartel-related violence broke out when Mexican forces killed the country's most wanted cartel boss. Suspected cartel members torched buses and businesses, blocked highways, and clashed with security forces.
Because of the violence, several airlines suspended flights to popular tourist cities like Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara. And many routes won't resume until Wednesday. Spring break is just around the corner for many of us, so could this change vacation plans to Mexico?
TV5's James Felton spoke to a travel agent about what's going on and how you can prepare yourself if you ever get stuck on your trip.
Stay in contact with the airlines. If you've made reservations independently on your own, updates are going to be posted on the airline websites. If you're traveling on some sort of a tour, an all-inclusive package, it'll be very important to stay in contact with that tour operator or your travel advisor for updates, because things are changing by the hour right now.
John Schmidt is a travel advisor for Grand Traverse Travel. He says, as of now, despite what's happening in Puerto Vallarta, those of us who have vacation plans in Cancun should be fine.
And that's the whole other side of the peninsula. It's 1,200 miles away. And certainly travelers are going to be concerned about that because it still is Mexico. But as of right now, there are no warnings in other areas. There are no travel advisories in other areas, and there's no, as of right now, no other canceled flights other than Puerto Vallarta.
Given that, Schmidt says no matter where your destination is in Mexico, it's best to make sure you have a private, non-stop transfer.
That way you are taken directly from baggage claim right to your resort. No stops, no buses, things like that.
Schmidt tells us the resorts in Mexico have a high level of security. He says it's a good idea to stay near the resort and avoid long excursions away from there. It's also a good idea to make sure you have enough money available in case you're there for longer than you plan to be.
When you're traveling, that your credit cards have a higher value, and that your banks, credit unions know that you're traveling, so that you have any charges that are beyond your travel dates, that they know you're still there. You know, in the case, again, back to the insurance, if you have an extended stay, let's say you've got a 5-night vacation and the airlines say, hey, you're not coming back, and you have to stay and you had to pay more, insurance covers incremental expenses if anything would occur.
James Felton, WNEM, TV5.
Another scammer pretending to be law enforcement, and this time out of Midland County. The sheriff's office reports someone is calling, claiming to be Deputy Ryan Smith, telling people they've missed jury duty, have a warrant, owe bond money, or are about to be arrested, and they have to pay up immediately. The sheriff's office is reminding people deputies will not call to demand money, gift cards, or payment through wire transfers or payment apps, and they will not tell you to stay on the line or go to jail. If you get a call like this, don't share your personal information, don't send money, just hang up. If in doubt, call the sheriff's office yourself. You can get an up-close look at a celestial phenomenon next month. On Tuesday, March 3rd, Bay City's Delta College Planetarium is hosting a lunar eclipse watch party. The moon will start passing into Earth's shadow at about 4:50 in the morning, becoming fully immersed from 6 to 7, giving it a distinctive reddish color. The free viewing session is weather dependent and starts at 5 in the morning.
This weekend, you can help people who are experiencing homelessness during the winter months. Saturday, the Mustard Seed Shelter in Saginaw is hosting the coldest night of the year fundraiser with a 2 and 5K walk. Money raised through sponsorships will go to Mustard Seed's General Fund, helping provide daily necessities and support for the women and children who rely on the shelter, with a goal of $20,000. Saturday's fundraiser is from 4 to 7 at Hoyt Park. You can learn more and sign up in our Hot Links section.
The cost of water in Flint could rise once again. The proposal has been made, but there's worry that the price could be too much.
Which is why the city is asking residents to take action. TV5's Zane Omer tells us how much the Great Lakes Water Authority is asking for.
We pay some of the highest water rates inside the state of Michigan, if not the country.
Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely pushing back against a proposed rate increase by the Great Lakes Water Authority. He says the board is considering raising water and sewer rates between 6 to 12%.
They just increased the water costs to this community by 6% last year.
When that hike took effect last March, utilities CEO told TV5 it was driven by unprecedented cost pressures and the need to balance infrastructure investments with fiscal responsibility. But Neely says another increase would be too much for Flint.
We understand that things are increasing all across the country, but definitely as this provider has just given us a water rate increase of 6% last year, we find it very disingenuous for them to come back again this year.
After the 2025 increase, Flint City Council passing a water stabilization fund using $2 million in American Rescue Plan money so residents wouldn't see the difference on their bill.
In the last 6 years, we have not passed any rate increase on to our end users here in the city of Flint. It took a very long time for council to come to the agreement that we would place that money into a water stabilization fund, so we did not have to pass the cost on to the end users.
Neely says the city is working with lawmakers in Lansing on long-term water affordability legislation, but in the meantime, he's urging residents to speak up.
A famous poet, Zora Neale Hurston, said once is, if you're silent about your pain, they will kill you and say that you enjoy it. So definitely I'm asking residents not to be silent about this issue. We need them to weigh in and weigh into the water provider to this community, and so we can continue to advocate together.
We did get a statement in from the Great Lakes Water Authority saying in part the company needs to invest in an aging regional infrastructure system that serves nearly half of Michigan's population. To read their entire statement, head to our full story on WNEM.com.
We'll look outside at downtown Saginaw tonight. This camera continues to look excellent as we end the day. We've got some sunshine there off in the distance, fleeting sunshine, but still a really nice look on the camera here as we finish our Monday. Temperatures tonight expected to be pretty chilly, dropping down below 10 degrees for many parts of mid-Michigan. Averages right around 20, so we're well below that. Some will be lucky enough to stay in the teens, but even then, those areas likely below average too, and then highs on Tuesday likely falling short in most areas. 34 is our average at this time of year, but it seems like we'll be roughly about the upper 20s to low 30s. There's a few who get close and probably close enough to call it an average day, but still not expecting some of the warmth that we had previously over the last couple of weeks. Your first alert pinpoint Doppler radar tonight looks mostly dry. Tough to tell if there's still some lake effect that's ongoing and brushing Huron County. I think it's still possible as we go through tonight that some of those snow showers that have been passing through there today could still brush that northeasterly shoreline area, but right now it's tough to see on radar. Have been pretty much relying on reports as we've gone throughout this afternoon. So your day planner for tomorrow, the morning and early parts of the afternoon are pretty good. I think the morning is dry and then scattered snow is possible, but likely just starting between noon and 5. But after that, the heaviest snowfall rates are expected from about 5 to 10. Those time frames could change just slightly as we get more information tonight and early tomorrow. But generally speaking, that's that's when we expect the worst of it. Heaviest snowfall rates of over a ½ inch per hour are possible during that time. This is not going to be a major winter storm. It's more so the timing of it, and the snowfall rates are decent for a clipper system coming through, talking again between a ½ inch, maybe up to an inch per hour or so. Your hour-by-hour forecast as we go through tonight shows cloudy skies and likely taking over that way into the morning. Once we get through the first part of the day, you'll see temperatures start coming up into those 20s. We're still pretty dry at noon, and then eventually we start seeing some snow showers move in for the early parts of the afternoon, but there's that big snow band that's coming through around 5. Notice the darker shades of blue, a little bit darker than what we've typically seen, and those are the areas where we expect some of those heavier snowfall rates. But you'll notice this is 5 o'clock right here. By 6:30, it's already moving into the thumb, and by 8, the heaviest is already starting to move out of most of mid-Michigan, and then we're left with lighter snows on the back end and then some scattered snow showers from midnight onward into the first part of Wednesday. But it's during that time that things could really add up pretty quickly, and especially out on the roads could cause some problems for tomorrow night. So it's not a huge snowfall. The areas that are a little bit further to the south and west, a trace to 2 inches. I think most pick up at least about an inch or so, but there's a few areas like Gratiot County who may be on the outside looking in. I think portions of Shiawassee County could be included in that also, where you might get a ½ inch or so. But I think these areas to the north could see closer to about 3 or 4 inches. We did include the thumb in that same zone to keep things simple, but I do think the thumb is probably closer to 2 rather than 4. But this map could still be adjusted tomorrow morning before things are getting underway. Your TV5 First Alert 7-day forecast shows temperatures later this week are likely to be much warmer as we head towards Friday, probably finishing up the week in the 40s. Going into the weekend, 30s down to 20s by Sunday, and then 20s as we start early next week on Monday.
Thank you, Chris. All new tonight, it's the old saying, if you do what you like, you'll never work a day in your life. The Pet Sanctuary profiting on cat naps in tonight's Can't Miss Moment on the news at 10 on the Great Lakes Sports and Entertainment Network.
Then on TV5 News at 11, what Saginaw City leaders are considering regarding people's use of Ojibway Island. Plus.
Oh my God, that's her. Yeah. Is it really? Yep, that's her.
Heroes for a Day, how a moving crew helped police rescue a kidnapped toddler. If you want to hear more about the weather with Chris, head on over to our digital live stream at 9 o'clock tonight. You can join that stream at WNEM.com, on the TV5 YouTube and Facebook pages, on our Roku and Fire Stick channels, and on the TV5 News app. Thanks for watching WNEM Evening Extra. Keep up with us as the news breaks online, on our app, or on social media.
We'll see you at 11.